So why on earth would a 50 something year old man uh, decide that he wants to go and start a YouTube channel? It's a bit bonkers. Originally I started it just kind of as a goof. I bought a GoPro to record some of my rides for mostly for safety reasons. And I thought, what the hell, just put this stuff online. But it was a real big pain in the neck to kind of operate the camera while riding. It just didn't work. So I stopped. And back late October, early November, I kind of got the bug again, got kind of that creative itch. And, the itch comes from having a passion. Now, in my particular case, the bulk of my channel is about my ferrets, and secondarily about cycling. And I got a lot to say about both those things. And the way I figure is, if I have a passion, there's probably someone else that does. So why should you start a channel? Because you have a passion. I'm sure you do. It may be really niche. It may be making little origami penguins. But someone's going to be really, really interested in that. So, why not just put it out there? Or it could be something a little bit more mainstream. The one thing that I'm going to be perfectly frank is, I'm not doing this for money or anything like that. I mean, if my channel does get monetized someday, that's cool. But right now, it gets to the second point, which is I really enjoy the creative process. I love when an idea comes into my head and I can act on it. I can do something with it. Like, for example, if some really weird ferret pun comes in my head, I can real quick just grab my phone, record it, and boom, in 10 minutes, it's out there. It's out there for the world to see. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Well, the puns are mostly bad, let's be honest. But it's out there, and it's just fun, and that's really the third reason, is that creating this stuff is just a lot of fun. Going through, having that idea, putting it, hitting play on the phone to record myself, it's a hoot. It really is. And when I, see the people like it, that's also kind of hoot. And sometimes people don't, and that's perfectly fine. So now there's a couple things that, I would like to share about, kind of things not to do. The first really important thing is, don't care what other people think. You have a voice, let your voice be heard and create. There's going to be people that like it, and there's going to be people that don't. It's just the way of the world. You cannot please everybody. But the main person you have to please is yourself. If what you're putting out makes you happy, makes you smile, makes you laugh, or move somebody in some really kind of positive way, by God, do it. People may put mean stuff in the comments. So what? You actually impacted them with whether it's good or bad, you spurred them to do something. So really don't care about what other people think, because you're doing this for you. You're doing this because it's fun. You're doing this because you're creative. You're doing this because you have a story that you want to share. And that's a really, really important thing. Kind of following on to that last point is, don't get caught up worrying that nobody will watch. The reality is, at first, and still for me, yeah, most people aren't watching this. If I'm lucky, I'll get 300-400 views on something. I have a couple that have a few thousand, the shorts and stuff like that. But the reality is, it's not, a lot of stuff isn't going to be visible, and it takes time. There's no such thing as an overnight sensation. Overnight sensations take years to kind of develop, because you got to just kind of build your craft, and it's just important to just kind of enjoy the journey. And that's kind of what keeps me going with doing this, is I love the journey. And sometimes progress comes very, very quickly, and sometimes it comes slowly. There's a phrase that progress sometimes comes in inches, not miles. And I'm grateful for the inches most of the time. Don't obsess over views. I know it's real easy to kind of sit there and look at your dashboard all day and say, oh my gosh, I'm down 10% or 5% or whatever. The reality is, views, it's nice, but it doesn't really matter. Views will come, your audience will find you. You don't need to find your audience. If people are interested in what you're talking about, they will come and they will find you. You know, it may not take, or it may take weeks, it may take months, but they will eventually stumble upon you. And then suddenly, ooh, something really, really cool just happened. And that's really just a lot of fun to see when it starts to click with some people. And on the kind of on the topic of the dashboard, you know, I said just a few minutes ago, you know, don't obsess over it. And, you know, kind of like the way I do it is I'll put some stuff out. You know, I typically put stuff out in the morning before I start working or doing whatever. And then, you know, I may check the dashboard like an hour later. I may tweak like the title, I may tweak a tag or something like that. But other than that, then I just let it go. And then maybe later on in the day, I'll check on it and say, ooh, that was pretty cool. That one people really, really liked. You know, don't obsess over it. You know, the fun in this isn't watching the graph go up. The fun in this is creating something that shares your story. So I do hope you hung around till the end of this video. If you did, thank you very much. You know, if you liked it, by all means, drop a like. And if this is the type of stuff that interests you, or stuff about ferrets, or stuff about cycling, then by all means, please subscribe. It helps me grow the channel. Remember, we do this for fun. And one of the things that, you know, I want to constantly convey is that you have an interesting story to tell. You know, whether it's talking about your hobby or your passion, or even a life event that kind of changed you. It could be a positive event, it could be a negative event. Either way, people are going to want to hear that story, and they're going to want to understand it, and they're going to take something from it, and it's going to help kind of the world at large grow a little bit in probably a better way. So until next time, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.